Final Fantasy Origins: A Stranger in Paradise was revealed last week during Square Enix's E3 conference, and let's just say that it set the internet ablaze for all the wrong reasons. There had been a few rumors circulating that there was to be a Final Fantasy Dark Souls-esque title release, with many internet pundits, me included, very curious as to how this mashup would work. Square Enix has never been one to shy away from testing the waters in other genres when it comes to the Final Fantasy brand, sometimes with mixed results. However, it did give me two of my favorite titles of all times in Final Fantasy Tactics and Dissidia NT. So does it work? Does Final Fantasy actually mesh well with the archetype of a Souls genre? Let's find out. So let's start with what is surely the most glaring issue, and definitely going to be the major area of contention when it comes to Stranger in Paradise, its lead protagonist. This guy is a palette swap of Cole from Infamous, and you can't tell me any different. To say that he looks out of place in this medieval setting would be a gross understatement. While it does become less of an issue as you gain access to new equipment, which thankfully shows up in game and allows for far more player immersion, as your protagonist is now using era-appropriate garments, but Square Enix's decision to let this be our first initial impression of the protagonist is a very precarious decision, to say the least. Overall graphical fidelity of the game does leave something to be desired. This game actually looks worse than the last Koei Tecmo Square Enix outing that actually came out 5 years ago. Of particular egregiousness, look what they did to my boy Garland. He went from this to this. This man had a Glowdown. That said, your two teammate bots actually look relatively good, and I will be referring to them as bots for the remainder of this video. They essentially do nothing but die instantly in combat and provide minimal assistance, so for anyone that was hung up on the fact that you have teammates in a Souls genre game, don't worry your mind, because you'll feel alone most of the time anyway. Speaking of the environments, this takes a book right out of Dark Souls with noticeably stranger results. Overall, I dug the entirety of the atmosphere throughout with only one major complaint. You see this right here? This. What? Hello? What the fuck is happening? This is kind of weird. One of my major gripes was this very strange sepia tone-esque filter that was appearing repeatedly throughout the entirety of my playthrough. A footnote for all developers branching off into this genre: it's quite okay to let your game have color and vibrancy. As shown from both Nioh and Sekiro and several other titles, this can really be executed in a very compelling fashion. It doesn't all need to look like a Dark Souls game. I really dug the overall enemy and dungeon design. The enemies look exactly how I would expect from a title like this, and while it wasn't mind-blowing, it was enough promise for me to give them the benefit of the doubt regarding what the end product will possibly look like. The dungeon itself was pretty standard fare, but offered enough interactivity to break up the potential hack and slash monotony. Again, nothing mind-blowing, but enough to gather intrigue from the playing audience regarding the future. So let's talk about combat. This, by far, is the strongest element of this game, hands down. Right from the onset, the demo gives you around 5 mechanics to learn and master. Pretty standard fare, right? However, the depth that some of these mechanics employ are quite nuanced and endlessly satisfying. In particular, this game's version of a parry, Soul Shield, while at first seeming completely optional, actually comes in extreme clutch during some of the more tedious encounters in the demo, including the boss fight. We'll get to that later. While we originally did do the playthrough live on the old Twitch channel, I went back and did a second playthrough to gather some raw footage and found it actually difficult to put the controller down. The feeling of landing a perfect Soul Shield followed by a perfect follow-up was actually quite intoxicating. Overall, the combat is pretty crisp, and I look forward to seeing what they come up with. Now, while I'm very far from what anybody would consider a savant when it comes to the Souls genre, hell, the last game that I even played that had a remote similarity to that was Onimusha 4. And on that note, I just have to say that the default controls for this game was made by an insane person. Having R1 as your attack button feels very strange in anything that's not a first-person shooter. While this is changeable, it was just a very weird choice to have this layout as the default for brand new players. So let's cap off by talking about the game's UI and progression system. The overall menu and sound design for this game, both in and out of battle, are pretty clean. And this is one area in the game that I think they absolutely nailed, hands down. The menus are relatively straightforward for both your HUD in battle and while changing your equipment. The job tree in particular actually offered more options than I expected for a demo, showcasing second-tier jobs such as Dragoon and Warrior, and classic Final Fantasy attacks such as Jump. It's always interesting to see the translation of classic attacks or spells translated into a new engine and genre. The music, on the other hand, has some absolute bangers, with the main theme and the boss theme doing more than an adequate job of building and sustaining the high-octane energy throughout your playthrough. Overall, seal of approval. So let's wrap by posing a question that the vast majority of you guys even clicked on this video to talk about. If you're into Final Fantasy, is this going to be a game for you? Well, the game seems to have a very different, darker take on the Final Fantasy formula. I mean, Final Fantasy can get pretty dark and violent at times, so we've seen that. The main character right here is actually soaked in blood from head to toe, so if that's not really your bag, I can't say this will be for you. And I do believe that if Souls-esque games aren't really your bag, the frustration will almost certainly outweigh any potential enjoyment of seeing classic Final Fantasy character and elements in this new engine and world. If you do enjoy challenging yourself and are looking for a change of pace from traditional Final Fantasy, this may just be the lane for you. In closing, I do think that this game holds a very high level of promise, and just from kind of speaking to a few of my peers that actually also played the demo, a lot of them are pretty excited for this as well. If they can iron out a lot of the graphical performance issues and incorporate more gameplay elements to keep players engaged throughout the playthrough, I think they definitely could have a winning formula here. Overall, I would say I'd give the demo about a 7 out of 10. Now, let me leave you guys with what is possibly one of my greatest creations, 2-minute montage of me getting clapped by Garland repeatedly. Give me your thoughts in the comment section and let me know what you thought of the demo. Do you think that Final Fantasy X Dark Souls is really gonna work, or are they kind of just, they're out of their element? Are they out of their depth in this one? Have they went too far? Has science went too far this time? Let me know. Feel free to drop a like and a sub if you're looking for more Final Fantasy content. LC, signing out. Peace. Alrighty. Yeah, we're gonna do this again. I hate the controls in this game. No. That was actually just a complete fuck up. That was just a fuck up. Alright. Broken kid. Okay, you can. It needs a timing thing. Okay, got you. We're getting it. He's almost halfway life now. No. This is fun. Okay. All right, I have an idea. Oops. That wasn't part of the idea. Stage definitely got. Okay, that was probably not supposed to happen. Oh, dude, I tried to fucking block it again. Dude, I can't even see the fucking camera. Bro. Oh fuck, man, I didn't get bodied. Yeah, I think I might try the halberd. Okay, yeah. Oh, I hate the stepping in this fucking game, dude. Holy shit, not worth it. I keep doing that. Fuck, dude. Okay, that tracks. Holy shit, that one shot me. What the fuck? All that fucking work for nothing.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Dude, I was reading the chat, dude. It's an AoE, but it feels like it shouldn't be an AoE. Oh my god, dude. Let's fucking go, bitch! Fuck! Ah, damn! That was way harder than it needed to be.